This is John Chenal with Vader TV, and we're here speaking with Mark Mahaney again of Citigroup, the Internet analyst. Mark, welcome.
Thanks, John.
We're talking about Microsoft and Yahoo and how that deal might transform the online search advertising landscape. How do you think maybe either Google has to respond to that? Does it impact the world for startups and online video ad networks? What kind of fundamental changes might we see if Yahoo, with a big online ad network of its own, becomes part of Microsoft, which is already building its own through a Quantive?
So let me lay out a couple of quick thoughts on it. First is confusion. You're going to have an acquisition or a merger of two of the biggest search networks. Oh, I'm sorry, the number 2 and the number 3 search network. You'll probably have a lot of dislocation amongst, you could have dislocation amongst Microsoft's customers, Yahoo's customers. Who's my Salesforce rep? They've talked about $1 billion in synergies. Well, one way that $1 billion in synergies comes from is getting rid of infrastructure, getting rid of Salesforce. So you're probably going to have some dislocation in the industry. So at the margin for the next 12 months, arguably, Google gained share. They've already been a share gainer in terms of online searches amongst consumers, you and me and everybody else. But they may continue to gain even more share amongst online ad budgets. Again, you want to advertise, you want to spend your money on search advertising. Right. You know how Google works. You don't quite know how they're going to mash up Yahoo and Microsoft. So I'm going to hold off on that incremental dollar going to Microsoft, Yahoo, or whatever they're going to call it, and I'm going to stick with Google until come to me once you guys mash it all up and make it a better product. Some of the other things you mentioned about private companies. So there's been a lot of M&A activity in the Internet space. Now, this is the mother of all M&A deals, but I think for private companies, at the margin, this is probably not a good event because you're just taken out of the box for at least a year, two of the largest acquirers in the space. Okay. So Microsoft is probably not going to be doing tuck-in acquisitions as they're trying to digest Yahoo, and vice versa. Yahoo won't be doing it. Does it change the overall dynamics of search? And I think there's 3 simple questions or litmus tests you want to pose here. In terms of search shared, is it going to change how you and I and everybody else, where we do our searches? Just because Microsoft owns Yahoo, does that mean we're going to go to MSN to do searches? No. If we like Google, and we'll probably continue using Google. If we like Yahoo, we'll continue using them. So it's hard to see how that's changed. Secondly, by mashing up the 2 R&D departments, could they create a better mousetrap? Possibly. I mean, that's the theory behind bringing these companies together. I'm not sure that you take the engineers from Sunnyvale and the engineers from Redmond, you bring them in a coffee shop together, that they come out with the next greatest search engine. Right. It's possible, but they've had very smart people in scale at both companies and they've had limited success.
Against Google.
Against Google. Yeah. The third, though, place where you could see an impact, and we're not going to know for a while, is, okay, you take the number 2 search engine, which has been Yahoo, and you essentially make it larger. They're going to be able to run searches across the Microsoft network, too. That could have an impact because in the past, marketers haven't wanted to run 3 ad campaigns. That gets pretty complex. Right. Now I can only run 2 ad campaigns, and maybe Yahoo, as part of a larger platform, can better use up my search marketing budget. That's where you could have an impact on Google. If you're going to see it, it's of those 3 conditions, it's the third to watch out for.
And last thing quickly on innovation in online search. I mean, we've seen Google with a lot of the innovation on the technical side. Microsoft and Yahoo both made big purchases to try to get their own ad network to sort of combat that. We've seen large acquisitions, fair acquisitions, right? AOL buying Quigo, other stuff like that. Do you think innovation-wise, Microsoft buying Yahoo sort of slows down the innovation given the integration concerns and maybe there's an opportunity for a smaller company? Or do you think that Google just continues to take all the oxygen out of the market?
Well, Google takes the oxygen, but they also buy a lot of that oxygen. I think all in last year they bought about 17 companies. And somebody who can come up with better mousetraps for video search, better integrating images, all sorts of non-internet material, which is 90% of all the material out there, but gets that integrated in and makes that more searchable and functionable. Searchable. There are clearly opportunities there. Again, the acquirer this next 12 months to pitch to, if you're a private company, may well be Google rather than Yahoo and Microsoft, but those acquisitions will still take place.
Right. Microsoft, Yahoo have a pretty full plate. Google may not. So, okay, Mark, thanks a lot for the thoughts.
Thank you, John.
Okay, we've been speaking today with Mark Mahaney, Internet analyst with Citigroup. For Vader TV, this is John Chenal.